crime, mystery, procedural, drama thriller show where the lead has the brains of Sherlock Holmes but the build of Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's Reacher in a nutshell. Now, if the title feels familiar, that's probably because you might have watched or at least heard of the two Jack Reacher films that came out a while ago, featuring Tom Cruise in the lead role. That's how I was introduced to the character as well. In fact, I liked the first Jack Reacher film so much that I ended up buying and reading a bunch of the novels written by author Lee Child that said films were based on. And while Tom Cruise definitely embodied the personality of Reacher, he most definitely didn't reflect the physical look of the character from the source material. Don't get me wrong, Tom Cruise is definitely an extremely fit human being. I mean, just look at all the running he's done in movies. But the books describes Reacher as a 6 foot something giant of a man built like a brick shithouse. So understandably, a lot of fans weren't too happy about Cruise's casting. But that's been rectified now with Alan Ritchson playing Jack Reacher in the show, now available on Amazon Prime. Now, of course, physical appearance and accuracy is one thing, but what's even more great is that Ritchson embodies the personality and attitude of the character from the books, making for a casting choice that's probably one of the best examples of actor fitting the character, this side of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark or Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. High praise, I know. He brings to Reacher a no-nonsense attitude that also has a bit of humor injected to him. Usually when you see a hero that's 6'5" and physically unstoppable, one might think it'll start getting a bit boring after a while. But Reacher's intellect and uncompromising dedication to what's right makes every single scene just so much fun to watch, and Alan Ritchson delivers on that front. Reacher is a force of nature, a wandering hobo with a past filled with expertise, trauma, and secrets. For all intents and purposes, he's essentially a more modern version of those macho hunks from the 80s action movies like Cobra and Commando. Essentially, he's the guy bad guys won't and can't take down, and that's exactly what's awesome about him. When he takes down a bad guy and delivers a beating, you feel like pumping the air going, fuck yeah, you know? At least I did. Now, I described the show in the beginning as a crime mystery procedural, and as far as procedurals go, this is a good one. There are twists, turns, reveals, and everything you might expect from this genre of entertainment, and while not all of them necessarily work, it's never less than engaging. A huge portion of that never less than engaging factor is due to the cast. Although Alan Ritchson is great in the role and does a lot of the heavy lifting, both metaphorically and I guess just by looking at him, literally, Jack Reacher, more like Jack Reacher, am I right? I'm sorry. He's joined by Willa Fitzgerald and Malcolm Goodwin as cops who help him out in this adventure. Essentially, they're his sidekicks, but their performances and the writing elevate them from being one note to characters that you actually care about. You also end up caring about Reacher's connection with them. The development and motivations for these characters are all on point, and the show does a great job of using them to define Reacher and vice versa. Unlike a lot of other crime thrillers, the show takes its time with its characters and manages to make us invested in their fate. So much so that when something unexpected occurs to one of them, you actually are shocked and surprised. See, you know nothing's really going to happen to Reacher because, let's face it, this is his show and his name's on the title card. But the great thing about managing to make us care about secondary characters is that the tension comes from us not knowing whether they're going to make it or whether, Reacher's going to make it in time to save them. That's a lesson a lot of action and our very own mass masala movies could learn from. The action in the show is fantastic and very well choreographed. It's not just a whole bunch of shaky cam, but rather we can see the tactical and the force to be reckoned with that Reacher is in the sequences. There are some sequences though, especially towards the end of the series, that did feel a little rushed and a little unsatisfactory, but for the most part, they work. And Ritchson sells the hell out of them. Overall, this is a really good first season for a show that clearly has immense potential going forward. And if you're a fan of good action, great characters, and a decent mystery, it's definitely worth checking out. Let me know if you guys watched it, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Bye. I still need to figure out how to end these things.